There we go. Now we're recording. Hooray. So we will upload this to YouTube, and basically, for the benefit of the YouTube audience, I'm Roy. Hello, and there's Chris.
Hi, I'm Chris.
Astro Ventures, Battle Systems Observatory. Chris is going to show me how to use Pipp to get images that I've got out of my camera and put them into a time lapse, which is going to be fascinating. And hopefully, if this works and you can see everything, the same thing that Chris and I can see, then what you'll see is that in here, I've got a folder of time-lapse stills. Now, the one thing I do remember you saying, Chris, is all the images have to be sequentially numbered and in the correct order as they came out of the camera.
Yes, as long as the name is sequential, Pipp will put them in order of file name. Most cameras will automatically number the individual photographs. Yeah. So if that's happening, you can probably leave that unchanged.
Well, that's, yeah, I think so. I've got all my files are DSC078 and then a number, when they all follow.
And if you look at that number, if that number's going up sequentially,
it is.
That's fine.
Cool. I wonder what DSC stands for. Do you know?
Not really. Mine is slightly different. A CR, because my camera's a Canon. Okay. So DSC is probably means something to Sony, I would think.
Maybe. Okay, so what we're going to try and do, so my Sony camera has a time-lapse app built into the camera and has already turned about 45 minutes of pictures or so into a time-lapse, but the time-lapse only lasted about 5 seconds or so. And so what I'm wanting to experiment with here today is just using Pipp to get those same images and maybe slow it down a bit, but then I'm kind of worried that it's going to look a bit choppy and bitty, but we'll see. So what do I do then, Chris?
Well, first of all, I would expand Pipp so that it's the full screen, because at the moment I can't read it because it's really tiny on my screen, but it's still quite tiny. Probably
yeah, I've got 4K. My screen's 4K.
Yeah, so. Yeah. So the first thing you would need to do is, if you look along the bottom of the screen, the bottom of the Pipp app.
Oh yeah.
The bottom left-hand corner, it says "Add image files."
Yeah, so that makes
click on that.
sense. That's common sense. How good is that?
So find the folder where your images are.
Yeah. That was in pictures, Sony import, and that date, and then the time-lapse stills. Got you. And I'm assuming I select all.
So just select them all. Yes. Now what I normally do is just hold the shift key down. You got them all, and just click open.
Open. Oh, look at that.
And
join mode has been selected.
Yeah. Now, if just a little background on Pipp. Pipp can handle just about any graphic format or picture format, and Pipp stands for photo image or photographic image pre-processing, because it's used by a lot of astronomers to pre-process planetary and lunar videos to so that when you then put them into the stacking software can handle them better. Because what it's capable of doing is, if you've taken a video of a planet and it's a bit wobbly because maybe you're manually trying to track it, or your tracking's not perfect, then what it'll do is it can put the image of the planet or the moon in the same place in the center of the image of every frame of the video, and then it'll spit out that. And it can also get rid of some of the real bad ones, anywhere you've gone really blackberry. And what it does is it makes your gives your stacking software an easier job.
Okay, so so what we're doing here is we're taking a load of stills to turn them into a video. But also we're going to turn it into a GIF as well, aren't we? We're going to make that into a GIF.
Yeah, we can do that, yes.
But what you're saying is that a lot of people use this to take a video, like let's say I've taken a 1-minute video of the planet Jupiter through my telescope. I can then take that video, and this will analyze and manage and deal with issues with all of the still shots, the frames, if you like, within that video.
What it can do also is, with a planet, if you've got a lot of so your planet is looking quite small, it can crop the video.
Oh,
So you
okay.
can get rid of, because all you'll have is black sky around it, and
Yeah.
it just adds size to the file and makes it more cumbersome to process and to stack. So you can actually say get rid of everything other than the planet and a little bit of a black border around it, and that
Cool.
makes the stacking process easier. So
So
it does all that.
that's great. So basically, we can either put stills in to make time lapses, or we
Yeah.
can put videos in to make stills eventually.
Yeah.
If we and would you just like, this is obviously a separate thing we'll have to do, but would you, if I was doing a video of the moon or something, and I was initially running it through this pre-processing program, would I then stack it in registax?
Yeah, there's two. There's registax and there's another program called auto stack it.
Auto stack
And
it.
they
Yes,
both
thank you.
do
I
very
remember that.
similar things.
Cool.
And what you get is a nice sharp picture of the moon as a result of your video. Now, just coming back to this, at the bottom, we've got batch mode and join mode.
Yeah.
Now, what the difference between them is you could load, if particularly with videos, you could load several videos that you took over spaces of time with your astro camera. But you might not want to join them all together. You might want to keep them as separate videos. If you're using a mono camera, for instance, and you've taken one with a red filter, one with a blue filter, one with a green filter, you can load them all in at the same time and just say, but still give me 3 videos at the end so I can stack them separately, type of thing.
Right, cool.
So join mode is what we want when we've got lots of stills. The other thing you've got there is different. You've got different types of image, and it just gives it an idea of what to do. So you've got solar and lunar close-up, full disc, planetary animation, planetary GIF, if you've got that kind of thing, and that's what it's going to be used for. So what I would normally do with that, optimize it for, I would pick solar lunar surface. It clearly isn't a solar or a lunar surface, but the detail in the clouds will probably look like the solar or lunar surface to the stacking software.
Ah, right. Okay, I see what you're saying there. So, I mean, could we also, if we wanted to, not choose to optimize?
Yes, you could. You can leave that blank if you don't.
Okay, but your gut feeling, and obviously you're very experienced with years, decades, dare we say, of doing this kind of stuff. Your gut feeling, looking at that, is we've got a significant amount of image, kind of light and dark of the clouds, covering in this significant amount of the canvas. So if we optimize for, let's click on solar, lunar, full disk, we might get something.
No, you want surface.
Oh, sorry.
Surface close up.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Because if you imagine this was a close-up of some features on the moon.
Oh, I see. So
because it's not looking for a round. Because if it's full disk, what it looks for the edge of the disk and lines them all up. So that's it. So we've
done that.
We've done that. So if you go to the top, you've got input options. We're just going to work our way along these titles. So click on input options, and then with input options, you've got various. It just tell you what it is. Now, if you've taken the pictures in camera raw, for instance, it's loading them. If you're loading camera raw images, then you can get it to debayer the image while it's stacking. Well, debayering. Okay. Okay. A color camera has a big sensor in it with lots and lots of tiny little pixels. And in order to get a color image out of the camera, then what it does is it has a little color filter over each individual pixel.
Okay.
And it groups them in groups of 4. It will have a red one, two green ones, and a blue one. And that's called a Bayer matrix. And each group of 4 pixels has this over, and the filter picks up the light from different objects. So anything that's red will register more underneath the red filter than it would underneath the green or the blue, and anything that's blue will register more under the blue filter than it will the green and the red one. And that's how you get a color image. So it works. Think of like a TV screen. If you go really, really, really close to a TV screen, the old-fashioned ones, you can see the little color pixels.
Yes. Yeah.
The same with this, and all it does is, but you have to know, you have to tell it. If you're going to debayer them, sometimes you have to tell it what the Bayer pattern is, because not all cameras are the same.
Okay, but these are, like you said, these are JPEG images.
So these are JPEGs, so they'll be
leave
color.
that for another video.
Well, what happened is with the JPEG is your camera's already done that.
Got you. Oh,
Your camera's debayered them inside the camera and chucked out ready-made color images. So we can just leave that as it is. At the top there, you've got
processing is next.
Yes. So, well, no, if we just go, you've got the files, but I don't think we need anything on that because we're not debayering them, so we don't need to click on that. So go to processing options.
Yep.
Right. So what I would do, because we don't want to use frame stabilization because we're going to create a time lapse. So just collect that for none.
Yeah.
We don't want to enable cropping, because what cropping will do is it will literally, you could crop it around a region of interest if you wanted. So if your planet was tiny in the picture and you wanted to get rid of all of the stuff on the outside, but we don't want to enable cropping.
What about this over here? We don't want to convert color to
No,
monochrome.
we don't want to confirm monochrome. No.
I think these are the things that when we clicked optimize for moon surface, these are the things that automatically get selected.
That. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So, and then your quality options. Again, you can enable quality estimation. Now, I wouldn't for this, because you want all of your frames so that you get a steady video.
But
if you enable quality options, say a picture of the moon, it will get rid of any that are really poor quality.
Yeah, and I think I'm remembering that the option there to reorder frames in quality order. Am I right then that makes it easier for the stacking software to only select the sharper pictures and discard the blurry ones? Yes, when you get your
graph, it makes it easier for the person looking at it, because what will happen is if they put them all in order, what you'll get is you get all the good all the good pictures at the beginning of the video and the poor ones at the end.
Okay.
And it's easy for you to say save them.
Oh, that's right. And you can select, can't you? You can choose. I remember. But we're not bothered about that because all the images are fine. We just want them all in one time lapse. So we're not bothered about anything.
So we're not going to do that. Animation options. So play all. Can you see where it says play all frames forward in order?
Yeah.
So that's what we want.
You know what? It's not even letting me. I can't. It's all grayed out, so I can't even.
All right. Well, I tell you what. Then what we can do is go back to source files, and just click at the bottom. Click on. See where it says GIF or AVI.
Planetary.
Are you going to make this one an AVI or a GIF?
An AVI, because I want it to be a time lapse.
Okay.
And then go back to animation options, and now
there you've got your animation.
There, I can use them. What's final?
Now it says
each forward play.
Yeah, play all frames forward play, and then repeat, and then your output options next.
But hold on, I don't understand what this is telling me to do. Pause final frame of each forward play. So does that mean when the video plays and it gets on the last frame, it'll just hold that rather than show you a blank screen?
It'll pause it for the equivalent of 20 frames.
Okay, and when it's
on a GIF, with a GIF you may want it to pause before it starts again, because a GIF will cycle.
And when it says repeat all frames in sequence, because we're just doing a movie here, if I just want the movie to play from start to finish, do I need that? Can I untick that?
Well, no, leave that right, because you want it in sequence. You don't want it to put frame 5 ahead of frame 3. Because then your clouds will jump around.
Yeah, they will. Okay, I understand. So output options then?
Output options. So it's outputting as an AVI.
Yeah.
Now, I'm just... So that's your output.
Right, and I think it's frame rate I'm interested in, isn't
Yes, and it's the frame rate. So you want to cut it right down.
I'm just thinking, I think we've got about 150 images. How many images are there? 129 frames. Now, I'm given to understand that anything fewer than 24 frames per second, and we might see flicker.
Yeah.
So it's on 10 at the minute.
So, yes, but what you got to bear in mind, at 100 and... How many frames did you say you had?
129.
So 129 at 24 frames a second mean it's only going to last 5 seconds.
Right. So if I do 12 then,
Yeah.
just to see.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 10 quality highest, FMP MPEG 4.
Yeah, that's your
compression.
Mm-hmm.
Lossless compression.
So that's your AV file options, because you're going to produce it as an AV file.
Right. Which one of those does the best quality do?
Well, I would use the uncompressed, but it will make your file big. That's the only problem.
That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What else? What have we got here?
And then you go. Then let's just go to the next tab. Well, yes. So yes. So these are about where it's going to save it.
Yeah, and I'm just.
So
it looks like it'll just pop it in the same.
It'll pop it. It'll create a new folder inside the folder where your images are.
Yeah.
And it'll put the video in that.
Okay. Cool. Okay. So do processing.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Mm-hmm.
Open output folder when complete.
Yeah, and just click start processing.
And then we now have to chat for a little while then, do we?
Yeah, while it goes through all.
Oh, okay.
So you can see how it's processing.
That's pretty swift and that's pretty quick.
Yes, so what it's doing is processing all the files and then it'll create the video. So it'll not take very long. You've got quite a powerful computer there.
Yeah.
If your computer's not too powerful, it can take a while, particularly with lots of frames.
Ah, cool. Well, I hope when this is recording, I wonder if it's just recording you and me talking about it, or if it's recording the screen as well. We might have to do this again.
Yeah, well, you can play it back and find out.
Yes. Yeah. Well, I mean, I could do it again. I need to do this 2 or 3 times really, just to kind of learn and cement. Oh, all frames have been discarded from 129 input frames.
So clearly it didn't like something about your frames.
Yeah, but it didn't like. I wonder if it's to do with the source files. Let's take that off. The optimization off. Let's remove that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that didn't work. Input options. Process. Where is the bit where it throws away frames it doesn't like?
Well, we told it not. We didn't tell it to do that. That's in your quality options.
It's got them. It's grayed out, and it says only keep the best quality frames. So if we click on that and get rid of that.
Yes. Sorry, I didn't realize we ticked that, or it ticked that automatically.
No, it's okay. Now, if we untick all of those things, should we try again?
Yeah. That's all we wanted to do is ignore what's there and just.
No, I agree. Yeah. But I'm assuming if we were trying to make a nice clean AVI or GIF of the moon and discard unfocused or defocused frames due to things like poor seeing, we would leave those ticked.
Or while you're doing the video, a little gust of wind would chuck it, so you get a blurry image, that kind of thing. You can get rid of those bits and pieces.
Oh, I'm assuming clouds and birds and things flying in front of the screen as well.
Yeah. You can also, I mean, it will, Pipp, I've not found a file format it can't see yet, and it can't use. So even the MP4 that you produce with your mobile phone, it will process.
Ah, you see it like that. There we go.
Yeah, and there you go. So it's created that video. So let's play the video and see what it does.
Fingers crossed. Now, if this works, Chris, then I think I'm going to call it a day.
Can we just, before you play it, can you just right click and see the size of the video? Just in properties.
It is 4 gig.
So it's massive.
Is that big, is it?
Well, yes, because it's a very high resolution. So it's 4 gigabytes, but it'll play. But it's because it's massive, it's probably going to take even a little while for your computer to play it.
Okay.
Now, how you can get around that is if we go back to the Pipp software. There you see, can you see it? But it's such a massive file that particularly Zoom Zoom is probably struggling to handle it.
Right. Okay.
So what we can do is if we go back to Pipp,
Yeah.
the program Pipp, and go into input options. I think it's input options. And can you see at the top it says binning disabled? Right at the very top where it says bin. No, not that. This one right at the very top. Yeah, bin it. You can, if you, because it's high and it's that massive, say bin it 4x4.
What does that mean? What are we doing?
It'll reduce the resolution of the video.
Okay.
But not so you would notice.
Well, okay.
And then just try it again and see what happens.
Yeah, well, I think I'll run it again. I'll play with the settings. I'll play with the compressed or decompressed
and
things.
What binning does is it will see what I did with my time lapse, the one I showed you the other day, was I pre-processed it in Photoshop and just saved them all as JPEGs and reduced their resolution from, because mine were 12 megapixel as well. Yeah. And unless you've got a 4K screen like you have, and even a 4K screen's not going to be not going to be a 12 megapixel screen, so you don't need it. So see how big that file is. Oh, you just
I'm just checking. So it's created a whole different.
Yes, it's just created a new folder.
That's 276 megabytes.
So it's a lot smaller.
Massively smaller.
Yeah, and if you binned it, but if you have a look at it, if you just tell it to play it, you'll find it probably doesn't look any different.
Yeah, let me see.
But it'll play it a lot easier.
Aha!
There you go.
That's still pretty quick though.
It is, and that's why, for that small number, what you probably would do would create a GIF file.
Oh.
I think
it's saying here use the same 60 frames per second.
You see, so it's obviously changed that, hasn't it? That's why.
Okay, so let's change that to 15. So basically, this is great. I'm enjoying this because we're trial and error. We've made a couple of mistakes. Well, I've made a couple of mistakes, so that's how we learn. But also now I know enough about some of the parameters, some of the variables that I can change, that I can experiment with it. So
yeah, it's always worthwhile doing a couple of different videos with different settings because sky conditions are always different, and what works best with one set of data doesn't necessarily work best with the other set of data. So it's always worth processing it through a couple of times just to see what's working best.
Look at that.
There you go. Yeah,
there's my 15. That's much nicer. We got there in the end.
Yeah.
So I'm going to turn this into a GIF now. So that was lovely. That's now.
So you would just go into there. You would just go into that and not the folder. You'd just go back into Pipp, and where you're telling it to output it as an AVI, tell it to output it as a GIF.
That's lovely. That's a 10-second video instead of 15. And see, I thought what would happen there is as we slowed the frame rate down, it would get a bit flickery or jumpy. And I'm assuming that will happen at some point, but
it will, yes.
Not.
I mean, if you tell it to do 1 frame a second, basically.
Don't think so. My animated GIF.
Yeah. Now just check that what your frame rate is.
You loop frames repeatedly. Use same phrase video if possible.
No, you want to slow it down, don't you? So loop it is what you want. You want the GIF to sort of restart and restart.
Got you. Maximum quality. Let's go for maximum quality.
Well, again, it's going to produce a massive file if you don't. So check your binning.
Binning is in process. No, don't tell me.
Yeah, so you got 4x4 binning. That's fine.
That's maintained. That's kept that. So that's another interesting thing to notice is that when you change some of the options,
yes, some of the other options,
changes some of the minor options, the sub options.
It goes back to default on some of them. Yes.
Okay.
Now it might take a little bit longer to create the GIF. what I've done with GIF files, if you recall when I made that video of the recent Nova.
Yes, yeah.
Where we saw it between when it was and when, so it looked like it was flashing on and off. What I did was I just set the GIF playing and recorded a video like we're doing now.
Okay.
And that lengthened the time.
Oh, yeah, this is going up at about 1% every couple of seconds or so.
Yeah,
so
it's a more complicated file.
Mm-hmm. So I think the next thing I need to do then is stick my Sony camera into my Dobsonian and get a drift wobbly 30-second video of the moon or something like that.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And then with you and your help, come back to Pipp and show people how you process that into a useful moon-centered video, for example.
Well, I took a video of the moon last night with my 20 megapixel astro camera, and I'm struggling to process it because the file's so enormous. There's 1,500 frames at 20 megapixels. The file is massive, so I'm probably going to have to bin it just like you did by reducing the resolution, just to see what it comes out with. Yes, because yes, the SIR file it created is yes, it created a 20 megapixel file. It is 20 gigabytes big.
Oh my God.
So what I need to do is bin that.
Yeah, I think so.
Get it to a lower resolution and then see. And besides, how binning doesn't actually affect the image very much, because quite often the seeing conditions that you're photographing, or you're videoing or you're taking a picture at, the seeing conditions are a lot blurrier than the resolution of your camera. So you can often reduce the resolution by quite a bit and you won't notice any difference.
That's interesting. So, I mean, I'm obviously a complete newbie to this, and all I can think of when you're talking about resolution and so on is the variable DPI. So, like for example, if I'm scanning an old photo, I usually try and pick the highest DPI I can for the original initial scan. So I've got a nice, big, large quality file. So when I'm binning something, am I effectively reducing the DPI?
You're reducing the DPI. And of course, what you've got to bear in mind is DPI. So when you take I mean, if you just open one of your
this
images,
seems to have worked. So.
one of your individual, if you just open one of your, well, has this now processed? Has it?
Yeah, it's 15 meg. I don't know which program will run it.
So 15 meg. If you just click on it, Windows Viewer will probably just open it.
Yeah, I've opened it in Faststone, I think.
All right.
That doesn't appear to like that. Oh, no, there we go. Oh, look at that. I'm happy with that. What I did notice with this, and I've seen it on a couple of other cameras before, when we're taking pictures kind of around about kind of sunset or sunrise, is as the sun sets, so in this it's going below the horizon, I'm getting like an artificial color banding like this. So get like a light bluer, then a darker blue, then the very much darker blue. What's that all about? Because I've seen that before with my Nikon camera as well.
I think it's just something to do with the way the camera processes the image. Now there is, and I'm just trying to there is a setting in Pipp somewhere, and I can't remember exactly where it is, which actually says, do you want to use, is it in the, and it'll basically say, do you want to sort of reduce color banding? And
is that what that is? Color banding?
Yeah.
Look, recent cloud. GIF. Well, GIF.GIF. Well, I'm happy with that. Listen,
Yeah.
I think I need to get off the phone because
No
my
problem.
wife behind me is about to phone. This isn't a phone.
I know what you
Because my
mean.
wife behind me is about to, or is already in some kind of very important medical
Yes,
Zoomy
no
thing.
problem.
But that's really helpful. I think we've
Mhm.
got 25 minutes or so, and that's given me enough to think about, write some notes for myself, and
Mhm. Yeah.
I'm going to upload this to YouTube, I think, as well, because I think other people might find it helpful too.
Yeah.
But it has also, Chris, raised many, many more questions that I
It
had
always
before I
it
started.
always does. And the only thing I can recommend you or anybody is download this free program.
Yeah, Pipp.
And play with it.
Yeah, I think the next thing I'd like to try is I'm definitely going to take a video of something or other, and I'll see if I can do it the other way around. I'm very keen to do an image of the moon by virtue of taking a video of the moon, the thing you were talking about, what you had done before. So maybe we'll have clear skies at the observatory tonight and I can do it then.
Oh, well, good luck.
Yeah, well,
It's
I'm going
pretty low, the moon, at the moment, with it being near full and it's the summertime. But it still looked quite good last night. It produced a lot of wows at the telescope. We had a great night. It was clear. I didn't actually leave until well after midnight.
Yeah, cool. Well, I'm gonna stop this video recording. I mean, you and I can stay on and keep chatting, but for the purposes of the video that I want to upload to YouTube, I would say thank you for your help, Chris. And,
you're welcome.
Thank you for agreeing to be videoed. And
good luck with your astrophotography, everyone.
Yeah, good luck.